carrying traumas. A lot of women are carrying scars, and you are going to put yourself in the crosshairs, and you're going to be the target of them taking out their past traumas on you. Right? What you think is harmless banter or catcalling because nihleli niphuza utshwala, harassing girls on the street, will have far-reaching implications on your life. Because the next thing, you're going to be accused of an act that you did not do.
Fucking don't. I said this nigga must delete that video. Delete that video now.
What's up?
Delete
It's my
that
car.
video.
What
No,
are you doing?
delete.
What are you doing? So why are you hitting my car?
Tell him to delete that video
No,
now.
you can't ask her
Tell
to-
him
No,
to delete that video.
no.
No, guys.
Take a walk. Take a walk.
Delete that video now.
Take a walk.
Fucking delete that
Take a
video.
walk.
Delete. No,
Go take some
no,
rocks. Go
no.
take some rocks.
Delete that video.
Go take some rocks.
Delete that video. Tell him to delete that video now.
No.
Delete that
No.
video.
No.
I don't want my face on you.
Not everything that you do is harmless, thoughtless fun. It's got implications and ramifications, right? That can land you in hot water. Women are carrying traumas. A lot of women are carrying scars, and you are going to put yourself in the crosshairs, and you're going to be the target of them taking out their past traumas on you. Right? What you think is harmless banter or catcalling because nihleli niphuza utshwala, harassing girls on the street, will have far-reaching implications on your life. Because the next thing, you're going to be accused of an act that you did not do, simply because you triggered a person of a past trauma. So be very careful that your thoughtless actions have consequences. That's the first thing, right? I highly recommend that you stop drinking alcohol, gents. Especially in your 20s, maybe even 30s. Basically, when you haven't figured out your life. Alcohol is for people who are unwinding, but they have their life figured out and they have fully actualized. They know who they are. When you know who you are, the likelihood is that you're not going to act out of character, even when you've had something to drink. But with you guys, you haven't broken into your true characters, which means you are susceptible to peer pressure and you will act in a manner that is unbecoming based on a group and mob psyche. Do you get what I'm saying? Stop drinking alcohol because you can't afford it. You can't afford it in so many different ways. Firstly, financially. The problem with drinking alcohol when you can't afford it is just what you see in that video. You end up drinking on street pavements, in communal areas, and once you guys are excitable, you start encroaching on other people's private territory. You get what I'm saying? And it's all induced by the fact that you're drinking alcohol on pavements, like I say. Quit alcohol up until you reach a point in which you can afford it, and then you can sit on a rooftop building and enjoy the scenery and meet like-minded people who are on your level. That's when you can drink alcohol, right? I believe it was not malicious, it was just thoughtless banter, but nonetheless, that sort of ill discipline can land you in hot water. And the reality is that you are going to be framed as rapists. I know that you guys are not that, right? You may be just numbnuts who are not thinking through the full consequences of your actions, but most of you are innocently trying to have banter like young boys that you are. Gents, gentlemen, be very careful. Tread very carefully. The world is not as it was.
When we say black men are the white men in our communities, we are talking about behavior patterns. The way they tend to think and act is in alignment with the behavior and thinking of white men. And it gotten to a point that even when we address these things, these beliefs and thought patterns have become your own. What you did is indirectly blaming women for the behavior of men, which is a behavior that's tend to be done by men. You're gonna find anything to justify the poor thinking of black men in our communities. If it's not alcohol, it's women. If it's not women, it's children. If it's not children, it's gay people. It's everything else but you. You are the problem, and it's time for you to hold yourself accountable, and you don't want to do that. Even when you think you're holding yourself accountable, you're not. You're indirectly blaming somebody else, shifting the blame on somebody else for your poor thinking and your behavior. Because you know deep down in the psychology of a man, you are also capable of doing the effed up same thing. So now you're gonna say catcalling is gonna trigger me. Like just Friday, I was in Johannesburg. I don't even live in Johannesburg. I went there for work stuff. And I kid you not, I was holding an umbrella. It's flipping hot in Johannesburg on Friday. That Friday, this past Friday. I was with a group of ladies, and then mind you, I don't even know these ladies. We were just like minding our business, passing by. A group of men just decided to harass us, basically. Like I'm holding an umbrella, I'm wearing a pair of jeans and a long short of sleeves. I'm gonna show you what I was wearing. This is what I was wearing: a jean and a long sleeve, light through top. These guys proceeded on to just make comments about my umbrella, like I don't want them to join my umbrella. Like I was like, yeah, bra, like leave me alone, like stop. And I'm saying this because the other ladies were just dead silent, quiet. They proceed on to laugh. They were not drunk. It's just who they are. They behave and think like white men. At this point, black men themselves are not even aware that they want to be their oppressors so much. And then when we talk about your behavior, you'll be like, everybody don't like black men. Hey, you have issues. No, we have issues with men who just don't think. Like if you want to hold men accountable, hold men accountable. Okay, don't do this shifting thing, yeah. Don't do that. Because these men also started to talk about these girls from Johannesburg. I'm not from Johannesburg, dude. I was there for work, okay? Like you do this all the time. And we cannot even talk about the things that you do to us, because the minute we do, oh, we were here. Labora, like labora. It's gotten to that point of labora. You would be a fool to think that you have an ally in a man. The number of even allies that we have in men are so small. It's under 1%, basically. Because men, their logical thinking is linked to their ego. And one thing men don't tend to do is hold themselves accountable. They will never do that. Especially post-colonization, he's more concerned of the image that we are gonna ruin than the image of men who have such a low self-esteem that they do not know when to behave. Literally, they are behaving in the same manner that white men used to think about them. That literally they are animals and they do not know when to control their self-esteem. They do not know how to control their sexual desires as well. And literally, like, the black man is so impulsive. And this is what they're talking about. Talking about he's gonna ruin your image, such women with traumas. He's talking from his own perspective. What he is doing is narcissistic. And this is what black men are so good at doing. It has become so part of their identity. They are not even aware that they are doing it. And this is why we say that black men tend to think on the lenses of what their oppressors want them to think about themselves. And also what they want them to think about their own women. Because literally what he just did, he blamed us for men catcalling us. He is telling us is that because of our unhealed traumas, even when men do this because they are so drunk, they're so unconscious, they're so out of state of mind, they are not aware that they're doing it. Again, he's reversing the blame and not holding men accountable, because in doing that, he's also gonna hold himself accountable because he has also done it at some point. This behavior has been normalized so well. They normalized our suffering that it's okay for them to even do this.